Hi, welcome to Cam Look, your daily dose of art from the Cincinnati Art Museum. Each weekday at 10 a.m., a staff member or volunteer will share an object from the collection and pose some questions for discussion. Check back each weekday at 10 a.m. for a new look and a new conversation. I'm Carrie Atkins Maras, Associate Director for Community Engagement at the Cincinnati Art Museum, and today we're going to be taking a look at a portrait miniature by Richard Cosway. A portrait mini was exactly what it sounds like, a hand-painted portrait in a size small enough to be tucked into a pocket or worn on a chain like a locket. These were first seen in the early 1500s, but were very popular all the way up until photography replaced the need for them in popular culture. They were, essentially, an expensive and fancier school picture, given to potential love interest, friends, and family, especially if distance separated. No selfies could be sent via text or Snapchat, so these had to do the trick. The one that we are looking at was completed in 1790 in England, where these were very fashionable at the time. Not only were portrait minis on trend, but this one was done by Richard Cosway, the superstar of English portrait minis. Was there actually a superstar of portrait minis, you ask? My research points to yes. Here's a rare, full-sized self-portrait of Cosway, by Cosway, of course, and another later self-portrait as a mini. Cosway was born in 1742 and was considered a child prodigy, receiving training from the age of 12 in portraiture. He is described as a flamboyant extrovert. He held frequent parties and was a member of high society, which included being a personal friend of George, Prince of Wales. In 1790, when this was painted, Cosway would have been in his mid-40s, married to a fellow artist, living at Pall Mall, and enjoying the height of his social and artistic career. Cosway showed off his standing with a signature in Latin, noting that he was a painter of the Prince of Wales. This kind of makes me want to roll my eyes at him, even hundreds of years later. We now know a little bit about the artist, but who is the guy in the painting? Turns out he was also an interesting fellow. When you begin to research someone for a project like this, and your first look reveals this in Wikipedia, you know it's going to be interesting. Augustus Cavendish Bradshaw was part of the English high class, so definitely in the same circles as Cosway, but considerably younger. Born in 1768, he was, essentially, an English politician, but the kind that didn't stay in any position long, the kind that spent much of his life writing letters in hopes of making some kind of upward move, and the kind that got sued for sleeping with the wife of an earl. It was referred to as, quote, criminal conversation, end quote, but that was code for adultery committed by a wife. The court case was very ugly and very public, and if you want to know the details, there's a book about it on Amazon. Anyway, Augustus lost the case. Everyone seemed to agree there had been an affair, and he married the divorcee a year later. It was all quite a scandal. Here's Mary Ann, the center of the drama. But back to the portrait mini by Cosway. This was painted before all that, in 1790, when Augustus was just 22, before all the scandal and disappointing career choices. Cosway captured the optimism of youth. You can see stars in his eyes. Not really, but you know what I mean. Both the artist and the sitter of this little portrait mini have a story to tell. If you were having a portrait miniature done today, who would you give it to? Thank you for joining me today. See you again soon.